From the Celebrity Theater at Sunset and Vine in Hollywood, it's the Merv Griffin Show. Today, Merv welcomes Orson Welles, Barbara Leeming, Meredith Salinger. And now, here's Merv.
Eloquent and a frequent visitor to this show, who's obviously going to do something amazing when he comes out here with these cards. He captures our attention with every word he speaks. Would you welcome the one and only Orson Welles?
You have lost that 20 pounds that you lost last year.
I'll get you
and
for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And look at you. You have dropped about what?
But losing a lot with me is so little in its general effect.
Orson, it's very
just beginning.
Noticeable.
Anyway,
I have 2 decks.
You have 2 decks.
Untouched by human hands.
Sealed, provided for us by the property department. Give me one of them, either one. And now I would like you to check on a monitor, because I want to be sure that the audience out there is getting the picture of what's going to happen.
You don't want me here next to you?
Not for just the second. I will call on you at the moment of the climax. At the climax.
I don't come around for climaxes.
All right.
Was it because I lost all this weight? Is that why you don't want me standing here?
You can stand here if you want to. I want you to check the...
I'll leave, Orson. Houdini never asked me to.
All right. Would you hold this, please? That's right. Do me a favor and unseal it. Thank you. We're going to do a little card cheating. You know that there isn't as much card cheating as there used to be on as grand a scale, because we don't travel nowadays in liners. And when you used to go back and forth across the ocean in 5 days, that was just the right turnaround to set up the mark, make the killing, go back in the other direction. And there were great men, people like Titanic Thompson, any number of... I'll tell you what I'd like you to do. Would you shuffle the pack very well, please? 2, 3 times. I don't care how many times. And Titanic Thompson, as a matter of fact, had a niece who is alive and well, and you all know her because she became a famous movie actress. And she used to work with him on the boats when she was a young girl. That's why I can't tell her name. But she's told me a lot about how they used to work. And of course, the real cheating is minuscule. It's a deal a second or a third or a bottom or a little work with a shiner or a cold decking, holdout, all that kind of thing was used once or twice in a game if it was necessary. But sometimes the game and its outcome depended on the whammer. Because whamming is a very interesting aspect of card cheating. You know, the psychologists have tried to study why people are gamblers. Well, the answer is easy. We want to make some easy money. But the parapsychologists have discovered that what the professional gamblers have always believed in, which was the whamming, the ability of some people to influence the outcome without touching the cards. Now, of course, you don't believe that. But maybe we can prove it. Have you shuffled the cards well? Have you taken the jokers out?
Yeah.
Good. No jokers?
Well,
all right. What?
I shuffled them in. Is that okay?
You shuffled them in. Look and take out the jokers, would you? Because it must be a legitimate pack of... and I'll tell you, would you pick up the deck of cards, the case, and would you stand up, please, miss? Thank you. Would you throw the deck, the case of cards anywhere in the audience, please? Thank you. Will you pass the the case to any gentleman who has a pocket. You have a pocket? Good. We're going to use it later. Good. Good. You have completed your operation?
Looking for one more joker.
All right. Now,
Do you need me yet? Orson, do you need me yet?
whamming. Whamming is an art which everyone has to some degree. I don't really need them, but thank you so much for getting them. And there are whammers in this audience. I'll bet a lot of you are and don't know it. In other words, there is an ability to influence objects which we are not physically controlling. And all of us can do it to just a little extent. Now, talking to some dice isn't going to help us at all. That's useless. You know, people, all that. But if all of us will work together for the sake of this lady who's going to watch this show, who's giving you a lot of pleasure as moviegoers, I want you to wham as she used to wham. And in order to do that, I'm going to ask you to cut your deck into 2 parts.
Okay.
And bring them up here, or rather put them up on the stage.
Right here?
Right like that, in 2 parts. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, whoever has that deck, will you, sir, toss it to or hand it to a gentleman who also has a pocket? Will both of you come forward here and stand here? That's very nice of you. Thank you. I want to make it very clear to you, ladies and gentlemen, that at no time do I touch these cards, nor does my old friend Merv Griffin, who seems to have left us. Hello, what's your name?
Norman.
How are you? And you?
Bernard.
Hi. Now, here's what I'd like you to do. That was just a trick of mine to get you here. Throw it away. Now, what I'd like you to do is you come over here and represent this group of cards, and you represent this group of cards. And I want you to pick up that deck, please, with your hand. Will you please count the cards down, face down on the stage floor? 1. Now, you can stop any time you want. I'm not going to try to influence you, but you stop when you feel like it. Did I influence you? But somebody in the audience did, probably a lot of you, because you don't know the card he should stop at. But if you were whamming properly, it all worked. Now, will you take the rest of those cards and put them face up on the stage, spread them out. Now, those, we could have stopped at any of those cards, right? Okay. You, sir, the same thing. Pick up your deck. Again, count down. Now, you can stop when you feel any influence at all. On your own initiative, you stop. You want to change your mind. Would you like to take a card from the bottom, or the middle, or the other part? You stick with that? Yes. Absolutely. Will you take the rest of the cards and smear them out? The cards could have been any one of those, right? Will you put those cards in your pocket, and you put these cards in yours? We are left with 2 piles of cards, which have been randomly placed in their position, but are in the condition they are because of various secret whammers in this gathering. All right, now, here's what you do, sir, please. Pick up that group of cards and deal me, you're a dealer now, deal me 2 hands, face down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's right. Will you do the same thing? You're the second dealer. Now, you're dealing to somebody that we're wishing very well to. A lady that we hope we have served by the cumulative effects of our whamming. Will you turn over the top card there? The Ace of Spades. Will you turn over the top card of that? The ace of hearts. You turn over that card. The ace of clubs. Now, it would be impossible if that should turn out to be the ace of diamonds. But just on the chance that a genius of a whammy is in this audience, will you turn it over? By God, he did it. Thank you.
We'll come back after this one. Well, Orson, you've celebrated and gave us no warning at all. I mean, I would have planned a major birthday cake. You celebrated a big birthday, didn't you?
I didn't celebrate it, I just had it. At my age, nobody celebrates a birthday.
You don't celebrate a special event like that.
Well, way in my hot youth, yes. I used to pretend it was my birthday when I took a girl out to dinner. And then I'd have the waiter bring a cake in and sing happy birthday, and I'd use that as an excuse to extend the evening. And one night, a friend of mine, Ty Power, God rest him, whose birthday happened to be the same day as mine, May 6th, came in February and saw a waiter singing happy birthday to me while I sat next to a pretty girl, and I got the dirtiest look I've ever had in my life.
Was it a big birthday?
What?
Was it a large number this year, 50?
It was right up there in the double numbers, you know. It was.
Well, 10 would be a double number. It's 10 Celsius.
I'll tell you what happened to me that made me happy about being 70 years old.
70.
70. 70. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Believe me, it's nothing to applaud about.
But they didn't expect you to be here past 50.
I'll tell you why. What was my good luck? I thought I was 70 last year. So I went through all the misery of being 70 a year ago. So this one is free.
Well, that was wonderful to have two of them, right?
Two, yes.
Yeah.
I suppose.
But no celebration, just let it slip by and...
Oh, no, I hate birthdays, you know.
Really?
Really. Because you always think, wouldn't it be nice if it was a lot less candles on the cake, you know?
Yeah.
As it is now, when they bring out a cake with my right number of candles, it looks like the Chicago fire.
What have various notables said over the years about age? Do you recall?
Well,
Bernard Shaw had a wonderful
what did
one.
he say?
I don't know, wasn't it was a shame to waste youth on the...
Yes, youth on the...
Yeah,
well,
on the
shame to
young.
waste youth on old age. Well, he was old when he said it. And de Gaulle, of course, said the truth about it.
What do you say?
Old age is a shipwreck.
But you feel wonderful, don't you?
Oh, sure. All these old people that walk around saying they feel just the way they did when they were kids. Liars.
Yeah. I just had George Burns on, and he's going to be
Well,
90.
George Burns comes from another planet.
I know. And I said to him, I didn't know how to do it delicately, as usual. And I said, George, does everything
Yeah.
work? He said, from the waist up. We're going to be talking a little later on the show with the author of your new biography.
Which I'm proud to say is a bestseller already.
I know.
Yeah.
But Orson, it really surprised me because I know you well,
Yes.
and you've never wanted trips down memory lane.
I didn't give it to her.
Oh,
It's an unauthorized biography.
but you're speaking
And
to her.
I'm speaking to her. We became friendly, really, after she'd finished writing the book, because I refused even to see her for 2 years. She was 4 years doing research. And everything she has in the book is from another source. And she has researched. In other words, she doesn't give opinions, or if she says something that I say, somebody has told her that.
Right.
I didn't cooperate at all.
Have you read it?
I haven't read it.
Oh.
I haven't read it because I became very fond of her after she'd finished. And I'd like to remain that way. I don't know what she's got in that book. People seem to think that she treats me in a kindly way, and I'd like to believe it's true. But no actor was ever happy with a good notice.
Yeah.
There's always one thing, you know.
Are there certain parts of it, of your life, that were really joyous?
Oh, yes. There's certain parts of almost every day that are joyous. I'm not essentially a happy person, but I have all kinds of joy. And there's a difference, you know, because joy is a great big electrical experience. And just happiness is what, oh, I don't know, it's a warthog can be happy. And I don't want to knock warthogs. Why did I pick on them?
What about painful times?
Enough of those to do. I'm saving those for my book.
Yeah. Were they usually associated, though, with your work? The pain?
All kinds of pain, all kinds of pain. Bad conscience pain, too, you know. That's the worst, the regrets, the things you think you didn't, the times you didn't behave as well as you ought to have. So that's the real pain.
The women in your life are...
Women in my
Oh,
life.
Orson, they're fascinating to everybody. Now, come on, if you're going to write your own book after...
If you think that I'm going to write a succession of boasts or lies about conquests of that nature, you're mistaken. I think that there's much too much talk and not enough action in the world.
But one of your wives, oh, I have envied you so many years for Rita Hayworth.
That's one of the dearest and sweetest women that ever lived. And
I guess I did her last appearance with her.
Really?
Yeah, and we got up and we sang, we rehearsed it, and we did a let's take an old-fashioned walk together. And it was just, it was early, very early 70s, 1970, 71.
Before the disease had really...
Before the Alzheimer's, yeah, which no one knew. No one realized. They thought, they all said, she's a drunkard.
Well,
And she
I never
wasn't.
believed that she was a drunkard. I didn't know about Alzheimer's disease, but I believed that something like that was wrong with her when that began to happen. I wasn't seeing her, but I was hearing these stories, and it was so foreign to her nature. It was so unlike her.
Do you remember how you first saw her? Or
Oh, certainly, in a full page in Life magazine. I was in South America, and I saw that picture and vowed that I was going to see that girl. It was awfully hard to get her on the phone.
Did you also vow that you would marry her? And
Yeah, and we were a long time together. I think I was lucky enough to be with her longer than any of the other men in her life. And she is a dear person, and she was a wonderful wife and an extraordinary girl in every way. And I've never heard anybody, I've never heard anybody who sounds like an enemy, or she doesn't have them.
no. Fiery Latin temper?
Well, she's half gypsy, you know. And she never got mad at me once. But she used to throw the stuff around the house a little bit when she'd think about Harry Cohen.
Well, the head of the studio.
Yes.
Yeah.
We must remember that he got the biggest funeral that anybody ever had in Hollywood, biggest turnout.
Right.
And somebody said to, you know the story, somebody said to, who wrote The Apartment and everything, Billy Wilder.
Billy Wilder.
Wonderful Billy Wilder. I said to Billy Wilder, why are there so many people here at Harry Cohen's funeral? And he said, well, give the people what they want.
We'll come back with Orson Welles. One woman, Orson, I wanted to ask you about, that you knew well and know well, and that we know really very little about except her performances, and that would be Marlene Dietrich.
Yes.
What kind of woman is she?
Well, she's the most loyal friend that anybody could ever ask for. Her loyalty is ferocious, and her professionalism is impeccable. She has a marvelous sense of humor. She was one of the all-time glamour people. And we did our magic show together, you know, for a long time. And so we had not only a long friendship, but also a long professional association.
How would you compare what we are experiencing on television, Orson, these prime time, well, they're called soaps, they're prime time dramas. I'm talking about Dynasty Dallas, Falcon
Look, they're
Crest.
soaps, come on. They're soaps.
How would you compare
There's nothing
those?
wrong with being a soap. It's a perfectly legitimate form.
But isn't that exactly what you were doing on radio? Those
No. I acted in soap operas in the day to make my living. I did a lot of those. I remember I played a cad in one of them. I was trying to seduce a girl. It took us about 13 weeks in one rumble seat to get anywhere. But it was the same plot as we see on TV now.
Yeah.
But it isn't. My own show was the soap opera. We did the same kind of thing you make movies of, full-length stories,
Right.
you know, with only one commercial break.
And you were what? At what age at that time? About 20?
I was young.
Young.
And
All that success at that age, hard to handle or easy to handle?
you know that anybody who has trouble being successful doesn't have any sympathy from me.
But at 22, Orson, you
But
you were the child genius of
I was a
Broadway.
success at 16.
Oh.
I was a star in Dublin, so I was an old-timer by then. And I was just awful busy, you know, and awful lucky. I had a tremendous streak of luck, and I was very grateful for that, because I'm not being fake modest talking about luck. I do really think it has everything to do with anybody's life.
Take a break and we'll come back and meet your biographer, even though she's not approved.
Not approved.
Well,
Not authorized.
oh, she's approved but not authorized. She'll be out here right after this message. As a result of how many years in in-depth research?
2 years of chasing and research. Research, really, because while Orson was hiding, I decided that the life was just so great, I was going to find out no matter what he did. And so I read all of his private letters, everything that everybody else had saved and
Have
he
you
had
got
thrown
any on
away.
you?
Oh, are you kidding? My whole house is filled with Orson's old letters. He once said to me, it's like, must be like the Grotto of Lords in there. But it was such a great subject. I mean, no matter how hard he hid, I kept running. And finally, you know, he was just so very nice. At the end of 2 years, he wrote me a lovely letter, and he said, I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to cooperate with you. And I thought...
And he already had?
No, he hadn't done anything. He hadn't even answered a letter for 2 years. For 2
But
years...
I never asked her to show me what she was writing.
No, that's true. And I wouldn't have
never
showed
asked
it
to
to you.
check even facts.
No, he
Well, here
hasn't...
we're into a major conversation. I haven't even introduced Orson's biography to you. This is Barbara Leeming, and this is her book. Orson Welles, which does not have the good housekeeping seal of approval. Of course, your life hasn't either.
That's true.
What surprised you the most to learn about Orson?
Oh, I think, without any question, how funny he was, I think. But, I mean, in terms of his life, I think it was the ups and the downs in childhood. As I said to you once, am I ever going to get you to be 20 years old? Because when Orson was saying before that he was in Dublin at 16 and an enormous success, what he isn't telling you is that at 17 he was a huge failure in New York. Because
Why should I blabber about these little ups and downs?
Those are things actors don't tell you about failures.
Yeah, but do you know what they said to him? I mean, I'm sure you don't remember this, but it's one of my favorite stories. When Orson came back from Dublin with great notices saying this is just such a discovery, he rushed right into the Schubert's office in New York, and he had his New York Times review saying, he's wonderful. And they said to him, yes, Kitty, can we help you? And you don't remember that, but Roger told me that.
It's an invention.
It isn't an invention, Orson.
It's an invention of Roger Hill's.
Roger is Orson's oldest friend and his former school teacher. And what Orson doesn't remember or won't admit, Roger will tell you very willingly.
Really? So you had a good source.
He's in his 90s.
Yes.
And we talk on the phone every 2 or 3 days.
Gee.
He's the most wonderful person. I mean, Orson said something to me very early on. He said, you know, you're never going to understand me unless you know the people that were around me. And that was one of the reasons that I spent a lot of time talking to other people, even after I had chased Orson and gotten him.
What areas have you uncovered for the first time in the Orson Welles biography?
I think the thing that hadn't really been written about at all before is Orson's political career. And for me, that was absolutely fascinating.
Well, we all know, or we have heard, that he was a great friend of Roosevelt's.
Of Roosevelt's, yeah.
Right. And was associated with him in...
Yeah, but I was also, I had a political column, and I also was the editor of a magazine. So I was very busy in that area for a while.
But didn't
so
you
long ago,
contemplate
everybody's forgotten.
Running for office? And didn't Roosevelt encourage you to do it?
Yes, he wanted me to, but I think he said he wanted me to make me happy.
Yeah, but there was a serious race. I mean, the thing that fascinated me was that there was a strong possibility that you were going to run in Wisconsin when McCarthy was the other candidate. And unfortunately...
And I decided not to. Now, it's always been on my conscience. Everybody told me that because of the dairy interests, I couldn't win, and the war hero would. So I quit. I didn't even start, not quit. And supposing I had won, there never would have been a McCarthy era.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Terrible
That's
thought,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thought. Had you won...
But I wouldn't have, so I'm lucky. I'm lucky I didn't.
Right. But you did have some kind of official function with Roosevelt's.
I didn't have an official function.
Did you ever
most
work
of
with
us
him?
were who were around him, old and young, were unofficial.
Yeah.
You know, there were only a few people with titles on the door. You know.
But did you ever rehearse him for his fireside
No,
chats?
He didn't need rehearsal. He was he was the superb actor.
Did Eleanor like you?
No.
Oh.
Tell why not, Orson.
No.
Come on, Orson, tell the truth.
Why did Eleanor Roosevelt hate you?
I don't know why not. You probably have some lie.
No, you told me this. What about the cooking? Tell about the cooking, what you said.
Oh, I made some slighting remark about the cuisine at the White House.
And she didn't like it?
No, I don't think that's why she didn't like me. She didn't trust me. I had a tendency when I visited to keep the president up too late. And I came under the heading of a bad influence. I adored her and admired her, but it was one of the many cases of unrequited friendship in my life.
He loved people in the theater, didn't he?
Yes, and he liked talk, and he liked sitting up, and they didn't like him to do it. So that
Somebody said that he once called, or that Mrs. Roosevelt once called Orson a pubescent backroom boy. Now,
I never heard that.
Whether that was so or not. You were awfully young, though, still, even then. You were young for a long time.
But Roosevelt had something against me, which is that I did the Christmas Carol every year on the radio. And until I'd started doing that, it had been a great family institution for all the children and grandchildren to gather around and for Mr. Roosevelt to read it aloud. And once they had it on the radio, they said, we want to hear it on the radio.
We want to hear Orson.
He didn't like that.
What did you find out about the women in his life?
There he goes again.
Well, and his appreciation of them.
I found out a lot. First of all, that was a very difficult area to cover because every time it seemed, when I was in New York, I would go out to dinner. I would find another lady who wanted to tell me her stories of her romances with Orson. And then I would call Orson on the phone and I would say, so-and-so told me a great story about a big romance with you. And Orson would say, it's not true. It's absolutely not true. What gentleman would ever tell you if it was true? So then I would have to go back to these poor women and say, Mr. Wells denies that you ever had anything going on. Put me in a very difficult position.
Your mistake was in going back to them.
That's right.
No, I had to be polite. I mean,
Approximately how many were there?
thousands, according. Certainly, I mean, one of my big sources was a second-hand source because.
Look at the two of them. Can you see? Have you ever seen a more gossipy couple?
Be quiet.
You know,
Listen, don't talk.
We'll give you this
Okay. when Orson was out here in the 40s, come on, we'll tell.
Yeah. Name names, everything.
Oh no, you kidding? We'll be in court.
Oh.
He had a hunchback dwarf who was his driver, and Shorty.
Yes.
Who did tricks?
No, he didn't do tricks, he took notes. And he loved Orson, he called Orson the boss. And what Shorty would do was to report everything to anyone who would listen. And he also, I think, would make things up half of the time, too, because he'd say, oh, you know, all those women, they love the boss. They just love the boss. So I had people who, how many years later is this? 40 years later, were remembering these stories, these absolutely outrageous stories, which I still don't know if they're true or not. And I'd say, how did you find that out? And they'd say, oh, Shorty told us.
So you see, it's all from them. It's all a tissue of lies from a lot of people who are safely gone to their reward.
Sure.
There were a
I'll
lot
probably
of real
have Shorty on the show very soon with his book.
He was a great character.
Was he?
He'd been a burglar, a second-story man. He was small enough they could put him through a transom. And Joe Cotton and I used to have him working for us in New York. And when we went to Hollywood, we tossed to see who would lose, and the one who lost got Shorty.
Oh,
But he was devoted and wonderful. And once when I was broke, or very close to it, one of the many times when that's happened, Shorty heard about it. He was living in retirement here in California, and I was in Paris. And he arrived suddenly in Paris with his entire earnings, which he wanted to give me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And I said, of course not, you go back with him, and God love you. And I took him to the airport, only he took a plane for Vegas.
I'll show you the book once again, and we'll come right back with Barbara Leeming and Orson Welles after this message.
The other day, my boyfriend...
In a moment, we're going to run a clip from one of my favorite movies of Orson's past, Third Man, which he did with Joseph Cotton. And I think the clip will include that. But I want to show you some stills first, and let's see what Orson has to say about these here.
Well,
That's it, Orson. Scene from Citizen Kane. A great boon to your career or a detriment?
oh, it was a great piece of luck because people liked it. If they hadn't liked it, it would have been bad. It's as simple as that. There it is. Let's change pictures. There I am, wounded.
1946, The Stranger.
Oh yes, with Loretta Young and Eddie Robinson.
Look at that face.
Yeah. That was there's Othello.
1952.
Yeah. Not the opera, the play.
All right.
The play.
Yes.
And this next, your favorite film, isn't it?
Yes, that's there I am as Falstaff, and that's Keith Baxter, who gave a wonderful performance as Prince Hal in a combination of Shakespearean plays called Chimes at Midnight.
1966. That was a bigger hit in Europe than it was in America.
Well, hardly seen in America. It was a huge hit in Europe.
Yeah.
It's very badly distributed here.
Really?
The man who bought it didn't have the financial resources to
Is it
sell
some of your best film work in that film, Chimes at Midnight?
I think you'll ask her. She's a professor of movies. She knows more about these things.
What do you think?
Than I do.
I think unquestionably. I mean, I think that's one of the things for me that I hope people will do is look at the other half of Orson's career. Chimes at Midnight seems to me to be so much of everything that I had ever hoped Orson would do.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Citizen Kane 40 times over. It's an absolutely stupendous
As you wrote the book, was there a continuity in the kind of unfair charges against Orson
Yeah, I
that
think-
were really not true and should someday be?
Yeah, I think a minute ago you saw the still from Othello, and I remember reading newspaper reports when I first started doing the book saying, Orson Welles has abandoned Othello again. Again, he never wants to finish his films. And when I started to look at the records of the facts and figures and so forth, I found out this is the most absurd kind of charge. The reason that he abandoned the film was to go and earn the money to shoot a little more and shoot a little more. Because after 1948, when Orson went to Europe, almost everything that he made was financed, at least in part, by Orson. And making movies with your own money is a pretty expensive proposition.
Because William Randolph Hearst said he will not work in America?
No, it's a little bit more complicated. It takes longer than to get...
It's,
But did he hurt your career, Orson?
yes, but, sure, but I didn't do him any good either.
Let's show a clip here. Let's show a scene from Third Man. And this is a scene with Orson and Joseph Cotton. I guess it's the amusement park scene. What a film.
Oh, some of the most famous
Wonderful
lines.
director, Carol Reed.
Listen to these lines. Watch.
Holly, I'd like to cut you in, old man. There's nobody left in Vienna I can really trust, and we've always done everything together. When you make up your mind, send me a message. I'll meet you any place, any time. And when we do meet, old man, it's you I want to see, not the police. Remember that, won't you? Don't be so gloomy. After all, it's not that awful. Well, what the fella said. In Italy, for 30 years under the Borgias, they had warfare, terror, murder, and bloodshed, but they produced Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and the Renaissance. In Switzerland, they had brotherly love. They had 500 years of democracy and peace. And what did that produce? The cuckoo clock. So long, Holly.
Wonderful, Orson.
You know, I wrote that line and then was indignantly denounced by all the Germans because it turns out the Swiss don't make cuckoo clocks. The Germans do.
The Germans do.
In the Schwarzwald, yes.
Well, Barbara, I can't tell you what you've done for, not only for all the Orson Welles fans out there and the readers who love to buy those books and read stories of people's lives, which are far more interesting than anything you can make up. You've allowed Orson now to come on the show and talk about his past, which has been a no-no.
I know he hates to talk about his past.
I know. I have found out more today about that man over there than I have.
She knows more than I do.
Our congratulations to you
Thank
on
you
this
so much.
biography. And thank you, Barbara Lee.
Thank
and
you.
thank you, Orson. We'll come back after this moment.